believe exporting eco-barleys to peach orchards. Now, this is the mixed waste in big plastic bales, which are being piled up in pyramids in peach orchards. And I told them, you can't grow peaches with eco-barleys, but you can grow peaches with compost. So, refusing to separate just drives you towards bad solutions, either landfilling or incineration. But to use the compost in agriculture, you must have it clean, which means you must have door-to-door collection. And that's the most important reason for having door-to-door collection. You cannot get clean compost with the drop-off containers in cities. You have to do it door-to-door and maximize that personal responsibility. So going now to San Francisco, the first container, the green container, that goes to a composting facility. Here's a very simple composting facility in Italy, and you'll notice that it's very similar technology in San Francisco. And in San Francisco, this is surrounded by farmland, and those farmers are using the compost to grow fruit, vegetables, and wine, which goes back to San Francisco. They're actually closing the loop in San Francisco. And incidentally, they put a huge incentive to getting clean organics from the restaurants and the hotels. They knew that this is where the large supply was going to be, and good, high-quality stuff. So it's 25% cheaper to put out clean organic waste by restaurants in San Francisco than to put out mixed waste. So there's an economic driver there. And the council has also put a team of people out to educate the kitchen staff to do a good job with this. And there are technologies which make, like windrow composting. This is the lowest of low technology, but you can certainly expedite the whole thing if you buy one of these Texas Scarab, this is called, and this just goes down the row and turns it in one sweep rather than using a front loader where the guy's going backwards and forwards and so on. Also, if you're worried about rats, there'll only be half or a quarter of a rat after that thing has flailed its way through. Recycling. In San Francisco, the mixed recyclables go to the single facility here on Pier 96, and they are pulling out all the things that you would want, the paper, the plastics, the aluminum, and so on. Reuse, repair, and deconstruction. Now, reusable items are low volume, high value, as opposed to recycling, which is high volume, low value. And if you notice in there, in the Los Angeles waste stream, the reusable items are only 2%, but they're worth well over a third of the total value. So this means there are jobs and businesses to be made if you pull out those reusable items. And that's exactly what they've been doing here for 30 years in urban ore in Berkeley. And this is run by Dan Knapp, who's a professor of sociology, and his wife, who's a writer. They've been doing it for 30 years. They're getting furniture, appliances, tools, you name it, everything from lampshades to little screws, everything. And also the building materials, deconstruction where you take buildings down carefully. You'll get the doors, the windows, the bathtubs, the toilets, the fitments, the bricks, the lumber, and so on. And here's a few pictures. This is the people going in, bringing their stuff that they're going to give away. Most people are happy to give their reusable items away. They're happy just to get a home for it. I think they do buy some stuff from them. And then here are the people leaving the facility with their armchairs and tables and skirts and goodness knows what else. I was actually there once when a old stove came up, an old-fashioned stove came in, and within 10 minutes it had been sold for $700. And the point about these people that work here, some of them have been working there for 25 years, is they know the value of things. And that means they know the difference between a piece of junk and something that's worth a lot of money. Talking about junk, there's a lot of toilet bowls, probably more toilet bowls I've ever seen in my life. And then doors. I mean, the value of doors ranges from a few dollars to hundreds of dollars, and the same thing with windows. As you probably know, living on an island, one half of the house rots quicker than the other half, the one that's facing the oncoming weather and stuff. So if you've got an old house with, you know, round windows and things which are not commercially available, either a carpenter has to build them again from scratch, or you go to one of these places and hope you can pick up one second-hand from the side of the house which didn't weather. Okay, so here's Dan Knapp, been operating for 30 years. They gross $3 million per year. They're 27 full-time, well-paid jobs. Dan doesn't believe in skimping on labor. He doesn't believe in volunteers. He believes in paying people for a decent labor. The economics. This is a quote from the director of the Zero Waste Program in Del Norte County in California. Economically, incineration represents one big black box. The zero waste strategy represents hundreds of little green boxes. Okay, here's an example. So this is lumber taken from a deconstruction company. That's one company, one set of jobs. Then it goes to the reuse and repair center, another company, another set of jobs. And then somebody gets that wood and makes it into furniture, new flooring or what have you, and that's another set of jobs. And then somebody has to market those products, and that's another set of jobs. Now, I have all of this on videotape. If you go to that website, AmericanHealthStudies.org, you'll find examples of reuse and repair operations in California, Vermont, Nova Scotia, and Australia. And I think you'll find them also in the UK. And okay, now, what can they be used for? They can be used for poverty relief. In Burlington, Vermont, people who are very poor are given coupons. And those coupons can be taken to the, I don't think you have very poor people here, but those coupons can be taken to get the basics, the furniture, the chairs, the beds and stuff, the absolute basics, not the luxury items. Secondly, they use it for job training. They literally take people off the street, and in 6 months they've trained them to repair something. Big appliances, small appliances, electrical, electronic goods. So we're not just talking about recovering materials here. We're talking about recovering people. This is especially important in big cities where you've got a large unemployment problem with people with no skills. Support high street charity shops. One thing you do have a lot of in the UK, and certainly on this island, are charity shops. And they're doing a wonderful job, and we can link to those. And most importantly, community building. You know, if it helps to fight the anonymity of living in a big city by going to the compost pile, it's even more so if you go to a reuse and repair center, which is like the shopping mall for secondhand goods. And here's, I've just put up a little thing. I'm showing here that you've got your high street charity shops already, and you've probably got certain aspects of reuse and repair centers. But the high street shops are very good at the small items, the books, the clothing, the small appliances, the CDs, and so on. But the reuse center can deal with the bigger things, like the refrigerators, the electric stoves, television, and so on, and also repair them, and the job training, community activities. I love the idea, if you're building one of these from scratch, and you've got a lovely site, by the way, that amenity center. You need a roof, of course, and convert it into a reuse and repair center. It's a lovely location. People would love to go there, and then build into it community activities. For example, why not have a community workbench? You know, most of us are klutz. We don't know how to repair anything. If I try to repair something, I always have more parts at the end than I started with. It never works again. But if there's a community workbench, all the tools will be available, and there will be people there that can help you. And also, you're meeting people at the same time. What about a bike club for youngsters? Most kids have bikes costing 200, 300 pounds. They don't know how to mend a puncture. Well, you could change that. You could show kids how to repair bicycles. You could show them how to build bicycles. And in the afternoon, they go and ride the bicycles around the island. What a beautiful island to do it. You could have a community compost. You could demonstrate all the different ways of composting in your back garden. You could have gardens around there that will make it all very attractive. You would have the big building materials yard where the workers bring in the builders bring in the stuff from deconstruction. So there's lots of really creative things that can happen here. Some of them haven't happened yet. Some of you might even think of some really creative community building things which can go on.